So welcome again. This is a Python tutorial. Is part 2 of the first one I made, finding the value of x. Now what this game does is to display something like this: x squared plus 5 equals 54. So you've got to find the value of x. So 54 minus 5 is 49, so the value of x would be 7. Then it says correct. Now, I won't go much into detail of this because I've already explained most of this code in the previous part. If you haven't watched it, check my previous video of find x. I will comment on this code, try and do it line for line. The other time I was only just explaining. Now obviously this will allow you to use these little inbuilt functions is for clearing the screen. Okay, time is for setting the timer. Random will set random values to a variable. That's what line 2 does. So refresh, this is the function. Define refresh. Time.sleep is gonna wait 2 seconds. Okay, and then it's gonna clear all text that is on screen, and then allow you to conduct other activities after that. So we can say here clear screen. Sometimes there's too much text on the screen, so you just want to refresh it, and there this says wait for 2 seconds. The reason why we wait for this is because we're allowing the user to read whatever is on the screen before everything refreshes. Okay, now the next function, this function sets questions, okay, and initiates values to variables, okay, to global variables. So global these variables applied in other areas or functions, hence this term here. Okay, global. Right, now initiating them, we're just setting their first values. Okay, we'll say number, okay, number 2 randomly generated numbers 1 to 9 and 5 to number 3 is number 2 squared. So number 2 times number 2 plus the random value for number. So you're allowing the user to enter the value of x. Okay, however, we are telling them that what is the value of x if x squared, that's the Unicode for squared. Okay, so if you want to write x squared, you write x // u00b2. Then you add to that the random number that was selected here, okay, 1 to 9, and all that is equal to number 3. So obviously we set here number 3 to be number 2 times number 2 plus number. All right, so you want them to enter the value of x after displaying this. So you want i.e. x squared. Now let's say number, okay, plus let's say 5, okay, equals let's say 30. So obviously you're gonna do 5 minus 5 and 5 minus 5 here, which will leave you with 25. So x squared equals 25, and then the square root of x squared is x, and the square root of 25 is 5, which means x is 5. Okay, that's how it works. So we'll get to the way the computer knows you got it right in a minute. Start is another function down here, okay, and we'll be explaining that in a minute. But we want, after displaying this question here and allowing the user to type the answer, we want the program to start. I don't know whether I should change that. Okay, let's say check. Yeah, check. Let's call it check. Yeah, so we can then say check if the user got it right. So what is check anyway? This check function, okay, will see if the user's answer is correct. And how is it gonna do that? Let me see, let me show you here. Okay. So now here's what happens. Okay, try out the following. So you're gonna first of all try out the following, okay, and if everything goes well, nothing happens. But if something happens, if things don't go as planned, this is what happens. It doesn't show an automatic error message, but it shows my own message. Okay, if what was tried failed, here is what happens. All right, so we'll get to that in a minute. Let's go back here. Try what? If check if multiplying answer by itself and adding number. Okay, now remember what I said. Number is that variable up there, this here, the random number, because it's saying x squared plus number. So if you multiply x by x plus number, do you get number 3 here? Okay, because we worked it out already. Number, okay, and adding number gives you number 3, right? So if you're a little bit confused here, let me try and explain this. Okay. You've been asked that x squared plus a certain number is equal to a certain number. Okay, rather x squared plus number, which is that variable from 1 to 9, is equal to number 3, and number 3 is number times number, rather number 2 times number 2 plus number. Okay, that's number 3. Number 2 is a random number. Okay, it's a random number from 5 to 12. That's where the square numbers are going to come from. However, we'll be adding any random number from this side to that square number. Now, for example, if the square number is 25, if the square is number 2 is if the square number is 25, number 2 would have been a 5. So 5 times 5 would be 25 plus a randomly generated number of 4. So that means number 3 will be 29. Check if multiplying answer by itself, okay, plus adding number is equal to number 3. Yeah. If that's true, then print correct. Yeah. Notify the user that they got it right. Okay, otherwise what happens if they didn't get it right? Okay, of course we're gonna do this here. Okay. Let me take that out. If what was tried failed, now for example, if the user typed letters A, B, C, D, or whatever, it won't be able to calculate this. So it's got to catch them out and show them that they've typed the wrong values. Okay, and that happens down here in the exception. Okay, you are throwing an exception. You're trying this and throwing an exception when things go wrong. Okay, so inform the user that you expect them to type all numbers like a 5. Yeah, that's what you do there. Now when that happens, you show them okay, it's correct or it's wrong, or they need to type the right numbers. You're gonna have to give them 2 seconds to read the message. After that, you're gonna clear the screen and then set the question again, and that's where the refresh comes in. Now if you don't remember what refresh is, it's up here. We started here where it says wait 2 seconds and then clear the screen. So if we go down here, we'll say wait, allow the user to read what is displayed on the screen before clearing it. Okay, that's like a teacher writing something on the board and then allowing you to read it, and then he wipes it off, clearing it. Right, and then what happens is we reset another question. Now this only happens when you call for this function. Okay, now reason why you see it down here is because this here is called the recursion, when the function calls itself. So you want the program to keep playing, okay, non-stop. You want it to keep playing. That's why we call it back again, okay? Otherwise it will just play once and that's it, and it terminates. Anyway, so that is what this function named QN or question does. Actually, you can then say this function sets questions and initiates values to global variables. It also calls itself to allow for let's just say continuous play. Yeah. So lastly, we're gonna now start the game. Okay, so start the game. Yeah, because otherwise it won't run. A function only runs when you call for it. So we code for this function and that's why it runs. Alright, so let's test this and see. X squared plus 2, that's 123 minus 2 is 121, and of course the square root of 121 is 11. Correct. And let's test it with a negative number. Let's say minus 8. It says wrong. However, if we test it with a letter or a character, for example a pound sign, whole numbers only please, e.g. a 5. So that's my code. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you, and don't forget to subscribe and watch more videos. Click that bell button as well